all for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to cover the halftime show. Like I said, there was going to be rituals, symbolism involved. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. Before I get into it, I find it pretty funny how many people actually saw the video that I did saying that there would be a massive ritual and commented and, tried to tell me off and say all these things. There was no ritual. Looked pretty normal to me. If you don't understand what's going on, if you don't understand the signs and the symbols, and you think literally like Justin Timberlake was going to walk on stage and sacrifice a baby or do something along the lines of, have an upside down cross on stage and they were all going to bow down to it. I mean, how ridiculous you have to be to not understand the signs and the symbols. They are there, just like I talked about with the mirrors. All of this stuff that is used in ritual ceremonies were used, the same signs that they flash in front of you to indoctrinate the masses with. And I'm going to start with how this was a gigantic ritual for Prince, because that was the theme of the show, was Prince. Now, what's ironic about this is that apparently Justin Timberlake was not going to use Prince in this performance because there was backlash. Because Prince had said at a previous time that he did not want to be hologrammed, that he did not want to be used in a collaboration with somebody when he was dead. In other words, he didn't want somebody singing side by side with him when he was no longer here. And you know what his quote was? He said, "That's the most demonic thing imaginable." He said, "Everything is as it is and should be. If it was meant to jam with Duke Ellington, we would have lived in the same age. The whole virtual reality thing is really demonic." And that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. Now, they didn't bring out a hologram, but it might as well have been one, because why? It was on a sheet in the background hanging down from the rafters. That's why it wasn't a hologram. It was a hologram. It was as close as you get. And like I said, Prince had said he did not want to ever be used when dead. We know Prince's ritual sacrifice killing in the past. I discussed it on my main channel before it was taken down. A lot of people covered it. Some people went in great depth about it and, connected the dots really well. And I think everybody with common sense in this community would agree that it was a ritual sacrifice, as most of these musicians are. So Prince, of course, is used during this ritual ceremony where they're using mirrors. Like I said, mirrors was going to be a theme. They use mirrors in all sorts of ceremonies that they perform, to summon the deceased, to summon demons. They use it also for this thing that they call scrying, which you could research yourself if you'd like to look into it more, which is like it's another form of divination, which the Bible tells us about divination and trying to summon spirits and use witchcraft. So the mirrors were all over the stage, and then of course they got into a gigantic ritual circle, right? And they made sure to show you this from an above shot, everyone in a circle, everybody holding up the mirrors to the sky, so you get your as above, so below. And then they have the audience using their cell phones to shine down on the mirrors. He requested everybody get your phones out, light them up, and reflect off of the mirrors. This was right after the performance about Prince. Coincidence? I think not. If you're somebody out there who can't see that, it's not my problem, okay? It's not. My problem is way beyond if, sleeping zombies actually care and understand what the occult is about, because clearly most of them don't. So when they hear there's going to be a massive ritual, I guess they were tuning in expecting to see, people sacrificed on stage in front of Moloch. Well, if you want to see that, take a drive up to Bohemian Grove, okay? They're not going to put that on in front of 100 million people. What they're going to do is flash subliminal messages. What they're going to do is perform rituals that the average person will not see. That is why the ritual circle is always used. That's why they use the circle with the mirrors, with Timberlake in the middle. That's why Timberlake was playing on a white piano inside of a ritual circle, just like we saw at the Grammys with Lady Gaga. Same thing, black floor, white piano, inside of a ritual circle. Okay, the black and white colors are always there. There's dancers with the black and white. They had the black and white squares behind him over and over when he was dancing. That is the Freemasonic black and white. That is why you see it on the Kardashians floor. That's why you could see it in almost every TV show, in every movie, in every castle, in every massive place, cathedrals, those places. You could see the Masonic tiles paying homage to the Freemasons. The black and white to them represents the duality, as above, so below. So you get the black and white symbolism. Of course you get pyramids, right? They have screens up around the stage, pyramids flashing, upside down pyramids, regular pyramids, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They have Timberlake and the dancers deliberately positioned to stand in a pyramid position. At one point, they actually deliberately flipped it and had it an upside down pyramid, and right on top of the NFL logo, so you can see all of what? The upside down stars, the Baphomet stars. Oh, is that a coincidence? The guy who was doing the camera operating was just like, oops, I hit the wrong camera. We don't want to see this here. We don't want to see a pyramid upside down and then the upside down Baphomet stars, because people don't even get it. They're just like, oh, a star. Cool. Like a star in the sky. Yay. Like the Dallas Cowboys. Right. If that was the Dallas Cowboys logo and the Dallas Stars and all these, why is it in the NFL logo? Oh, because why is stars in every logo? Starbucks. I don't know. Why are pyramids in every logo? Guess people just love these shapes, right? Just like everybody apparently loves lightning, right? Because it wouldn't be one of these performances without lightning bolts. I've covered it over and over. This is referencing Luke chapter 10, verse 18, when he says, "And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven." That is why Marilyn Manson uses lightning bolts. That is why AC/DC uses it. That is why Kiss uses it. That is why all these Metallica, all these metal bands, all of these people use it. Not because they are huge fans of thunderstorms. They spend their off season in the summer driving around chasing down thunderstorms because they get their jollies off of seeing lightning bolts. You can see the lightning bolts and you can see the fire, right? Of course, we always will see fire representing hell, obviously, the flames, the eternal flames, and the eternal hellfire that these people will be facing unless they repent. But it doesn't look like that's happening. What else do we see? We see cube symbolism, right? Saturn's cube. Common symbol that we see more and more in the last few years, okay? The cube, which represents Saturn, the Saturn worship. I talked about it at the Grammys with Kesha with this Saturn on her hand. It wasn't because her favorite planet was Saturn, so she was like, I always love Saturn. I want to get it tattooed on me. Oh, what's your favorite planet? Oh, Uranus. I'll get it tattooed on me. Pretty much got your own anus tattooed on you, but you understand the point. These things aren't coincidence. These symbols are not used as a coincidence. This is how they operate. They speak to each other through signs and symbols. They constantly are indoctrinating the masses with these signs and these symbols. It is not a coincidence. Another thing that was worth noting is that when Justin Timberlake went into the crowd, you could see all the people out there had these bracelets on their right wrist, right? I'm sure this was some type of gimmick, or they gave everybody out to put on your right wrist, and you can go up and scan something and buy something. This is more microchip preparation, right? I've talked about it with Tomorrowland, how they have these electronic bracelets to get into these shows, these festivals now. Oh, you could load up your wristband before you go, put your money on, you don't have to carry your wallet inside. People go around, they buy beer, they buy shirts, they buy glow sticks just by swiping their wrist, right? We see that with Amazon Go now, how you can just use your phone and swipe. We see it with the credit cards, how you can tap and go. This is all preparation for the microchip. And don't think it's not. It's subliminal, but it's there for a meaning. Right? They got 5-year-old kids wearing these glow bracelets on their wrists like it's the coolest thing ever. Okay, this is all deliberately done. Nothing they do is by coincidence. Now, was there massive amounts of transhumanism? Was there a robot out there dancing with Justin Timberlake? There was not, which was surprising. But maybe the backlash they got from the video that he put out where the robot was having missionary sex with human beings and the crowd was applauding, and then when it was backmasked to reveal that they were talking about worshiping Satan, maybe, just maybe, they decided not to do it because I have a lot of views on my channel, but there's a lot of bigger channels than me who have talked about it. There are a lot of people paying attention to this stuff, and you could bet your bottom dollar that the elites are paying attention to this stuff because they don't want people snapping out of their programming, and they know that the basic key of all of this is repetition, right? It's not as jumbled and confusing as you would think it is, and they know if people start training their brain to look this way, they'll stop believing in coincidences because they'll see the constant repetition being used, and they'll break out of the mind control that they're under. They do not want anyone breaking out of that mind control, and it is vital to them, absolutely vital, that they stay under control, especially at this stage in the game, because they are close. They are close. And you can see throughout the show, there's commercial after commercial with transhumanism in it. Okay, it's not a coincidence. Commercial after commercial, you got a rabbi and a priest and a Muslim and a Buddhist getting together, getting in a car to go to a football game, and the theme is what? One love, right? Where they all love the same thing, which is football. They're all one. It's the stuff that I constantly talking about. These are the common themes, right? Other commercials about, people who've lost legs or born without limbs and how they have artificial legs and how they're, becoming Olympians. This is all transhumanism. This is all mind control. Be greater than you could be. Never give up. You can do it without two legs. This is just subliminal for how they're going to roll this stuff in. Okay? So people could be their own superheroes. So people could do this. So people could do that. Be greater than you ever thought. Do anything you ever wanted. It's all control. So, again, to recap, this massive ritual, which really was about, the paying homage to Prince. Okay, they flashed Prince's symbol all over all over Minnesota, right? They did a sky shot where you can see Prince's logo across the whole city, right? And then they come back and they go to the mirror ritual, right? Think these things are a coincidence? You think they just said, hey, I'd love to hold some mirrors up. And don't give me all songs called Mirrors. Yeah, there's a million songs called Mirrors. There's a million songs called Magic. You know why? Don't you think that maybe they changed the names of these things if they're trying to be creative artists, that they wouldn't use a name that's used? That's like you telling me, hey, I'm going to write my own song. And me going, all right, agree to write your own song. What are you going to call it? Stairway to Heaven. Oh, it sounds like a great idea. But it's going to be the same thing? You're covering it? No, I'm changing the lyrics, but I'm calling it Stairway to Heaven. Oh, great. Right? There's millions of songs about magic. Wouldn't somebody go, hey, you probably shouldn't call it magic because, there's 5 million songs called magic? Right. That would be a good idea, right? If someone comes up to you and says, hey, is it a good idea if I have my own song and I call it, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and I change the lyrics, somebody's going to go, yeah, it'll be a big hit. Obviously, it won't be because they control it. But you get my point. That somebody would go, you're an idiot. Because why would you name a song after a song that's already been named that's huge and famous? Okay? All of this stuff is mind control and conditioning on the masses. For somebody who stumbles upon this channel, looking for this stuff, and you don't get what's going on, and you don't think it was a big thing, it doesn't have to be a big thing, okay? The sky doesn't have to explode for a ritual to occur. This stuff's going on every single day. And these performances that they do, just like when the power went out the Super Bowl a few years ago for 33 minutes, these are all rituals that are being done on you. They might say, oh, that's stupid, that's ridiculous. Yeah, well, you'll see. You'll see at the end. It's not my problem if you don't want to believe it. You can ridicule me all you want. I'm not bothered one bit. Not one bit. Somebody comments and says you're an idiot, you're a crazy person. I could care less. I know 100,000,000% for a fact that this stuff is real, that this is going on, that we're in spiritual warfare. So when I hear stuff like that, I don't blink. I just feel embarrassed for the person commenting because I realize how stupid they really are. But let's hope that people start looking for symbols and signs, and it starts leading to an awakening. Then they can look up in the sky, and they can look in their food ingredients. They can look at what's happening with vaccinations. They can look at Bohemian Grove. They can look at the Georgia Guidestones. Why don't you take a look at all this stuff and tell me it's all crazy if somebody stumbles upon this, huh? What do you think they're making Belluminati commercials mocking all of us? Huh? Because they're deflecting. They're using humor to make this all look crazy, and then you people who believe it are the idiots who think, oh yeah, this stuff's crazy. I mean, you don't have a common thought. These people think that you're nothing more than cattle, and they're going to be ready to get rid of you as soon as possible. The only threat to this establishment, this threat to the system, is us who are awake, because we are a threat. So it's important to keep waking people up. So Timberlake, again, a ritual, no surprise, mirrors, lightning bolts, pyramids all over the place, Saturn's cube, right? We saw the upside-down stars, the pentagram, the Baphomet pentagrams, ritual circles, okay? Black and white colors, black and white symbols, which will always be there. No surprise, no big deal, same crap, different day. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.